I'm Steve Adubato. We are at the New Jersey Institute of Technology talking about innovation with innovators like Gerard Adams, founder and chief executive officer of an organization called Fownders. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me, Steve.
Our pleasure. Fownders is?
A social impact accelerator providing progressive education through the principles of entrepreneurship here in Newark, New Jersey.
What made you start it?
Well, so I grew up at local and wasn't one of the smartest kids. And, you know, growing up, I wanted to make my parents proud. I wanted to go to college. Felt college really wasn't for me. Didn't want to get into the student loan debt crisis. Had to drop out. Really couldn't find a lot of mentorship. It was tough. And I had to figure it out on my own. I failed big time and overcame that adversity and luckily built up an amazing company in 2011 and named it Elite Daily, and went through this
Elite Daily.
Yeah, went through a whole journey of what it was like to be an entrepreneur, you know, with an idea. And, you know, after going through failing so many times, finally seeing what it was like to go from this idea in an apartment to 200 employees, and we sold.
200?
Yeah.
Sold for?
We sold for $50 million to a $1 billion company named the Daily Mail in 2015. So
what was that like?
It was like like a movie. It was literally like a movie. It was a dream come true. And that board meeting and that last moment, you know, when we had to make a final decision, it was like surreal, really surreal. And we celebrated. And, you know, my two other co-founders were 18, 19 when we first had the idea, and I mentored them. So afterwards, I didn't know what was next.
Right.
But
yeah, what do you do for an encore?
So yeah, I mean, that's what I went through, right? Yeah, it was tough.
Is that where Fownders comes from?
Yeah.
What is it, the idea of helping others and sharing what you've learned?
Yeah, and bringing experts, bringing these entrepreneurs I've built relationships with and mentors I've been able to build relationships with over my career, and, you know, bringing them to Newark. And,
by the way, why Newark?
Well, my father went to Barringer High. My grandparents grew up here on Cutler Street.
My grandparents grew up on Cutler Street. My father and mother went to Barringer High School. We are close to a wonderful old school, old First Ward,
That's right,
Little
Old
League
First
Church.
Ward. That's right,
St. Lucy's Church, right?
Yep. Yeah, so I heard all the stories growing up. And, you know, after the sale, I got flown to Silicon Valley.
Right.
I got ranked top 100 most influential in tech in Silicon Alley. And I saw all these amazing ecosystems that were helping create new jobs, new businesses, giving resources to entrepreneurs. And I said, around the neighborhoods that I grew up, and like, especially when in Newark, all the stories I heard from my father, you know, I wanted to really bring something like that back to a place that was
So what does
meaningful to me.
Fownders do for those who participate in it?
So we have programs. We bring different entrepreneurs and experts in, and we take them through a personal development course as well as business development, influencer development, and we do it inside of our incubator here in Newark. And we just launched our social learning platform.
Social learning platform, what does that mean?
So basically, an online education portal so now that we can scale nationwide, and also a way for entrepreneurs that feel like they're alone and they don't know how to get the mentorship, they don't know how to get the online education, they can now join Fownders if they can't make it to Newark. And that way, you know, we're able to we want to see Fownders start here in Newark, but we really believe they should be in every community nationwide.
You know, millennials, targeted audience for you, right?
Yes.
In my own work, coaching and teaching about leadership and communication, I often have managers and leaders say to me, you know, millennials, they're just different. They don't want to work as hard. They want it faster. They're more transient. They're not as committed, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
What do you see?
You know, we are the instant gratification, you know, generation.
You are known as the millennial mentor.
Yeah. I mean, there's no running from the fact that times have changed, and we're just adapting with that change. You know, the skills that are needed today to succeed in today's economy are different.
Are they? For example?
Well, social media, you know, think about it. You know, even when I grew up, I didn't have the ability to, with one click of a button, be able to have a car pick me up and take me anywhere I want to go. Or, you know, the ability to travel anywhere and be able to rent someone's home, an apartment, you know, for a fraction of a cost of staying at a 5-star hotel in a beautiful home. You know, and these companies, even Facebook, and, you know, a lot of these companies, they don't even own the homes or the cars, and it's pretty amazing what technology has done. Technology has continued to evolve and will always continue to evolve. And I think our generation really saw a huge shift especially after the recession of 2008, that I saw happen. And, we're trying to help bring those skills and teach those skills: coding, UI, UX, design.
Whoa, UI, a lot of acronyms there. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, code, it's this skill. There's so many jobs coming to the marketplace. And if you know how to actually code and build these websites and build these platforms, build these internet businesses, learn e-commerce. The retail industry is shifting. You learn how to actually leverage social media if you have a product to get exposure. I mean, these are new things that, are revolutionary in business.
We are at NJIT.
Yeah.
Is there a connection?
Absolutely. I mean, they've supported us so much, being that we're down the street. So we've continued to foster our relationship with NJIT. I actually did my TEDx talk right on the stage.
Yeah, talk about that. You did a TEDx speech right here.
Right here. Yep. My mother was first row. It was one of the best moments of my life. It was unbelievable because it was the first time my mother came out to actually hear me speak, and I wanted to really dedicate it because at the end of the day, I wouldn't be here without my parents. They instilled with me the old school values that made me who I am today, and I try to use those values in my business, in the person that I am, and how I interact with my entrepreneurs, and I'm grateful for them. So for me, it was a really remarkable moment.
Last question. You two more things.
Sure.
One, you talked about being out at Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
The epicenter, if you will.
Yeah.
For innovation, technology, for lots of reasons. Could Newark become something like that, or something special in this field? Absolutely, 100%.
Why couldn't it? It was one of the greatest cities, back when my father was here. The Industrial Revolution shifted that, but through technology and innovation, it is the biggest city in New Jersey. The grit here is unbelievable, but there's so much.
Tell folks what that means.
It's just the hustle, the
there's
old school
Newark thing,
hustle.
Isn't there?
Yeah, there's
How do you explain the Newark thing?
For me, it's just like willing to get your hands dirty, willing to grind it out, understand what it's like to really build something, and I feel like it's just hard working. You talk about America, New Jersey as a whole, we're one of the hardest working Americans in this country, and there's no reason why Newark, as the biggest city in New Jersey, can't become the next Silicon City, is what I called it in the Star Ledger.
Yeah. Last question. As a student of leadership, the number one leadership lesson you have learned is?
One leadership lesson. I think it's being brave, the courage. I think for me, it's to be able to stand up and never be a follower, stand up for what you believe in. And no matter what, follow that purpose, follow what really drives you, even if everybody doubts you and everybody says you're crazy, as Steve Jobs would say. It's the crazy ones that are able to change the world.
Yeah. Well said, and we thank you for joining us. Very talented and dedicated entrepreneur. His name is Gerard Adams, founder and Chief Executive Officer of Fownders. Did you bring swag?
I brought some startup swag for you.
Okay, startups. I have to report this to PBS, but go ahead. What do you got?
It's a Founders shirt with our slogan, "Own It," and I would be honored if
I will. These are my favorite colors too. You got that, folks?
Yeah.
Founders. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve.
All the best.
Appreciate it.
We'll be right back right after this.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the CAUCUS Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been provided by TD Bank, PSE&G, RWJ Barnabas Health, Kessler Foundation, the law firm of GIBBONS, PC, Choose New Jersey, and by Verizon. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.